afternoon. This is Bishop Elder Wood of the Golden Harvest Community Church in the wonderful city of Norfolk, Indiana. We thank God for this is the day that the Lord has made, and we'll rejoice and be glad. I'm just thanking God for just another day that He allowed us to see, and so I'm just excited about this session. Obviously, I'm not Jerome. I know he can go a little better than he does. He can't help me, but in a way, I'm in his stead. He had some things he had to do at the last minute, so I know y'all miss him, but I'm gonna do the best I can. So pray for me. But this afternoon, I'm excited. I have a very special guest with us this afternoon. One of my spiritual son, Mr. Brian Meeks, and we're going to give a shout out, and so I will introduce you to him in a minute or so. But I'm just so excited that he's here. I missed him so. We hadn't seen him, wife and I, members of the church here, we hadn't seen him almost 2 years, long time. And then he brought his beautiful girlfriend with him. And I forget her name, Ryan again? Heidi Wright. And so I know y'all don't see her because I don't want the camera to see what's happening. If y'all look at her, then y'all forget about the section. She's so beautiful, so I don't want her to take all the attention away from what's happening that's at hand. So I'm sorry, Heidi. You know, I just can't give you the camera today. But they traveled about an hour and almost 2 hours to be here, and I'm kind of just honored that he's here. But anyway, our thought today, and I want to give a shout out to my wife because she's the brainchild behind this ministry, this Buzz Hour. But the thought today is the power behind decision making. Power behind decision making. In life, everybody at some point in time will have to make a decision. To go left, right, every time. In life is full of decisions. You choose to eat this, or I don't want that. Go here, go there. Turn right, turn left. So, and decision deals with making choices. And if you want to call it a subtopic, is that you have the power of making good or bad decisions. You have that. That means you do to make a choice to either better your life or let it stay the same. And so, since I have my special guest here, Brian Meeks, I want him to give us just a brief history of his life. I mean, you don't have to, feel free to tell what you want to tell about your history of your life, and then we're going to go from there. But I want you to introduce yourself and then tell us a little bit about your life, about, your life.
All right, I'm Brian Meeks. I don't know where to begin. It's a long story. Brief history on my life. Well, from Columbus, Indiana originally, moved to North Vernon when I was like 11 or 12. And I say about middle school, high school, got involved in gangs, drugs, violence, just all sorts of stuff. And made a lot of bad choices, you could say.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because like he said, you got choices you make every day. So that's some of my history of my life, I guess. Where I was then to where I'm at now is like drastic change. Took a while to get here.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be here.
Good. I'm glad you're here too. And sometimes when we ask people about their past, obviously there's some things we don't go into because there's always some haters out there that want to take somebody's past and throw it up in their face. But he's got a new chapter in his life now. So now I say, amen. I'm glad he's got a new chapter. But anyway, we have some questions we want to ask our guests, and then we'll be, talking more about that. How did your decision early in life affect the outcome that you had to make or to endure? in things that happen early in life, there's choices that you, or decisions you made early in your life, Ryan, how did that affect the outcome in your life early? How did that?
Well, some of the decisions I made early on affected my life all the way from, I don't know, I'd say like teenager until full-blown adulthood. You know, 'cause I thought to myself when I was a teenager, well, I knew, you know, it's like any other teenager, they know everything. And I thought that. And I didn't want to listen to my mom, didn't want to listen to my dad, pretty much didn't want to listen to anybody. I thought I knew the answers to it. A lot of my choices in my hands, but I wasn't under the impression at the time I knew it. Where's the right answer to go, you know? And that landed me in juvenile detention by 14 for criminal gang activity. And I spent some time doing a little time on that, spent a couple months on that. And I got out on like house arrest, you could say, but no ankle monitor or nothing like that. And went on through school, still participating in gangs, still participating in drugs, and, you know, I wanted the money, obviously, we don't have money, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I felt I didn't want to work for it, I didn't want to go out and get no job to do it, man. Pay taxes, do it, no, I'm not doing it. It's about, and I started making some real crazy choices by 15. Started being like, well, since I was in this game and selling, you know what I mean, I was almost one of the top earners in it. Then they started asking me to do more and more and more, so I did it. Figuring I had something to prove to somebody. Then by 17,
So let me stop. Stop right there. Why did you feel that you had to prove something? I mean, what was it about what you were engaged in, the people you were with? What made you think you had to prove something?
I guess just the acceptance of it. Really, the acceptance of my peers. You know, I wanted to be somebody. That's pretty much. The more I did, the more they looked at me as one of them, as one of the group. So I just did what I needed to do to get that, pretty much.
So you said, so you had both parents in the home. In your decision making, you said, you said earlier that I just didn't want to hear what they had to say. Was the environment, the home environment, do you feel that the home environment, how it was between parents and son, because you had a brother, did any of that affect your choices? Or did you just say, well, man, I'm just gonna do what I want to do?
Well, I think some of it was like my older brother. At 14, he done went wild. You know what I mean? He done stabbed a dude when he was 14, and he went on to live with my grandparents. Live with my grandparents to go to juvenile corrections up in was that Logansport, I think. Until he was 18, I was living with my grandparents. So he started living with my grandparents. I looked up to my brother a lot. He's my older brother. And really, he joined a gang, conservative vice lords out of Cincinnati, when he was out in Indianapolis at some facility out there. He got me hold of him and they got rid of him. So I pretty much was, I don't know what you call it, idolizing what he was doing pretty much.
Okay.
You know, and my brother would be like, no, man, leave me alone, you can't hang out, you can't hang out, you can't hang out. So I was just like, all right, I'm gonna figure out a way I can hang out. We can do something. So one day he was like, all right, he's like, you want to be down with it, then we'll get you there. But first you're gonna have to prove your loyalty to it. I said, all right, I'll do whatever it takes, and I did it. So, probably wasn't the best choices I had made. So, yeah.
But obviously you survived it.
Yeah, well,
I see you in the flesh.
Yeah.
So then another. So all of us have a story of choices. I made some bad choices too, you know, early in life, and different between me and you. My father was not around, so you always want to feel like you're a part of something or somebody, and just doing things. It's amazing decisions that you make when you're young, how they affect your life. You know, you don't think about it at the time you're doing what you do, but it's like a resume. You setting it, you're building a resume for your future, and you don't even realize it at the time because you're caught up in the moment, you know. But what led to those early decisions in your life? What was it that led you to make those decisions? You know, when you talk about the gang, obviously you had a brother, you had two parents, and usually what I've heard, that would usually gang life or gang activity, usually it attracts people who don't have that. They don't have a father or they don't have a brother, whatever. But in your case, you had two parents and a brother. Was it the influence of your brother that really kind of seeing that pulled you into it? Were you forced to get in it or what?
No.
The early.
It wasn't a force to it. I was willingly do it. I mean, with my parents, they were divorced.
Okay.
But I had a stepdad. He was a good man. You know, and he did everything that he could possibly do. I just wasn't trying to hear it. You know what I mean? I ain't trying to hear nothing that man's trying to say. Period.
What? And that's good. This is good because there's so many like that. What is it that what was it about that you just didn't want to hear? I mean, I don't want to hear this, you know, and because with that in mind, I made a decision that I don't want to hear what y'all got to say.
Yeah. I mean, I figured, well, my dad, he was living in Columbus at the time. And I lived with my mom and my stepdad until I was 18, 19, pretty much. I pretty much removed myself from there when I was about 16.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But as far as that, I don't know. Honestly, I just didn't want to. I mean, he didn't treat me bad, didn't treat my brother bad, didn't treat my mom bad. You know, he went to work every day, provided more than enough what we needed. We had a good life. I figured, man, who are you?
So what was
you
it?
know what I mean?
What was it? The attraction. What was it about the attraction of the gang being a part of this group? Because there was a decision. I really didn't. I wouldn't know. Nobody was forcing me into this, but I made a decision. I'm gonna be a part of this group. What was it about that attracted you to make that decision? I'm gonna be a part of the gang.
Well, mainly some of it was when I was in school. You know what I mean? About 6th, 7th grade before I got to high school, because I refused to do any kind of harm or violence or raise a hand to anybody. I refused to do it. Because that's the way my mom showed me, that's why my grandparents, you don't act like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's good. You know, you shouldn't do that at all. But it got to a point in my life, the time I got to high school, that was too much. You know what I mean? Instead of, I don't even think how to put it. Pretty much, when you don't really say nothing about somebody doing something to you, that attracts. It's like blood and water. It just attracts the sharks. Because they know you ain't gonna do nothing about it. And I was trying to do what was right. Get through school, get out of school, whatever. Then at one point, I think I hit my tipping point, probably about midway through 9th grade. I said, man, you know what? And I'd tell my brother about something, about somebody, I don't know, like somebody taking my hat. Or somebody punched me in the head or something. I go tell my brother about it. That was my go-to guy.
Right.
And he'd get 2 or 3 of his people go and talk to him, you could say. You know what I mean? Then they'd stop. Man, how you guys do that? You know what I mean? So I wanted to get that kind of respect from him.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Then I started hanging out with my brother a little bit, hanging with his people, and then when I was with them, like if we be out in town, man, you ain't taking nothing from me. I could say and do whatever I want to. You ain't gonna do nothing. You knew, you know what I mean? They knew there was consequences to doing it. I think it was, I don't know, like me and Heidi were talking earlier about power can be intoxicating.
Yeah, it can. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've seen it. And I seen my brother had it, his friends had it, now I want to get my little bit of it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And that's pretty much what got me into it.
But you know, that's amazing what you said. It was the having the ability to control. You could kind of say you can control your environment that you was in.
Yeah.
And so, you know, when somebody came up on me, it said, "This ain't happening today." You know, and like you said, it's amazing. It's intoxicating having that power. And that's true. You see it all over. You see people in political positions and people who have the have and have-nots. They've got a sense of, you know, when you have a lot of money, that's a type of power.
Yeah.
You can control something. I can get what I want to. If I don't want it, I don't have to take it. And people are like that. I mean, and they don't have to be in a gang, but it's just of having power that they can do what they want to do, say what they want to say, treat people the way they want to treat people, without. But but in your decision making, there's a price you have to pay.
Oh yeah, it was a big price.
You know, so so what do you think? Okay, you had this, made a decision. I'm gonna be a part of this gang, which now I've kind of built myself a reputation.
Yeah.
That then I become kind of. I assume you became pretty fearless.
Yeah.
Just I ain't taking off nobody. Now I'm gonna be in the fort, kind of. You know, I'm the guy.
Yeah.
Now, what? With that in mind, what led you to change, and what could, I'm trying to understand this question. Oh, what led you, what do you think, when all this happened to you, what led you to change, and what caused you to want to do something with your life? I mean, here you are, you know, I'm in this, things are going this way, and at what point in your life did you feel like I need to make a change?
At what point? Well, it took a while to get there, I guess. Well, like, I don't know, like, you said there was like a price to pay. There's a big price to pay for your choices. I mean, you make the wrong choice, you're going to pay with your life. I mean, that's facts on that. Because I about did it once. Actually, I had two close calls where I about paid for my life. Once was, I was 17 at the time. I'd stayed out of trouble for about a year and a half, moved out of my mom's house about 16, started going out and doing my own thing. But then again, that life, that street life I was in, you know what I mean? I started, I don't know, like, just doing more and more and more, because the power of it. You're not going to take nothing from me. That's the last thing, you ain't going to take nothing from me. I'll give you what I want you to have, but you won't take it, nothing. You know, then somebody had taken something from us, and they came to me, and at the time, I was just wild, you know what I mean? It was all or nothing. It didn't matter what, I didn't care what your excuse was for doing it, you're going to pay for it. When I come from here to here, you know, I'm going to make an example out of it. And then at 17, one of my friends came to me, and somebody had taken something from us, and they told me about it. Then I advised the plan, well, call this guy, get some firearms. We're gonna go talk to him. So we did, and they went bad. I mean, real bad. We ended up going to a place, and some words were exchanged, some gunfire was exchanged. Then we went from that place to the other place that had it, and went and got it from them. But what we didn't know is the house that we went to belonged to a 911 dispatcher. So we left there. After we left there, we didn't even get out of town yet, and they had all points bullet and pretty much like a bolo out on us. And once they stopped us, they about shot everybody in the car because we had guns. Then they arrested me and my friend and the other two people that were with us. They didn't really do nothing to them. They kind of just let them go. They mainly wanted us. Then I didn't realize what I had done because we'd been drinking that day. We'd been eating pills that day. We'd been drugged. I didn't even realize. I woke up in Lawrenceburg juvenile detention center, and that's 57 miles away. Next thing I know, we turned on the TV and there we was on the news right here. Then I went to Lawrenceburg, Jackson County, extradited us from Lawrenceburg to Jackson County on felony charges. Discharging a firearm in a public place, just carry concealed weapon without permit, drug charges, and by the time it all wrapped up, I remember going to court. My mom was there, and my stepdad, and my grandparents, and the judge looked at us, told us facing 35 years.
Wow. It's okay.
Yeah.
You're being real, man. 35 years.
Yeah.
How old were you then?
17. Just turned 18. I got arrested on that Friday, turned 18 that Sunday.
Wow. So, what happened with that situation? So now, I'm in court. I know I'm this rebellious, wild guy that now these decisions that I've made down through the years now is really caught up with me.
Oh yeah.
Because of my lifestyle, things I've done. So now, what happened with that situation? If you feel like sharing, something you don't have to, but and like I said, you can be discreet in what you say. But so with that in mind, you're facing this. What happened then?
Well, I went to jail, obviously. Went from juvenile center to jail. Was facing pretty much a life sentence right at 18. And my great-grandparents and my grandparents came up with the money to bond me out, and I had a cash bond of $75,000.
Cash bond, $75,000.
I sit in jail for about, 5-6 months. And I got bonded out. Then, I don't know how it happened, but my lawyer came up, somebody had videoed it. At the time of our arrest, I was in cuffs, and I had been hit in the face by one of the officers while I was in handcuffs, and one jumped right in the middle of my back. Then somebody had it on video. Then they tried to say the guns that we had were stolen, and we had possession of narcotics with the intent to deliver, and possession of narcotics with a firearm automatically aggravates it to a Class B, Class A felony. But none of the guns were stolen, like they thought. And the narcotics I had was only a joint I had in my ear. So that charge really wasn't sticking. But somehow my attorney went through and somebody gave him the video of it. And he come to them and said, look, we cut a deal. Well, we can sue the county of Jackson for a lot of amount of money for police brutality and excessive force on him. So they end up dropping a lot of charges, and I got charged with possession of a firearm without a permit and possession of marijuana under 30 grams, 2 misdemeanors. And I pay $150 per gun to be destroyed and 2 years probation. So I went ahead and I signed that deal, man.
So
Signed that deal quick.
So so what, with that in mind, what caused you, through all of that, what caused you to really want to make a change? What do you think, with all that, you end up doing all this, and it was, to me, there was a miracle.
Yeah.
And sometimes we may not, at that time in your mind, you probably may look at it like that, but that was something was taking place in another realm that you didn't know at the time that was setting you up. It seemed like there was something bigger than yourself that's saying, I got a place for him. I want him.
Yeah.
So what was it? What caused you to, with all this happening, what led you or caused you to really want to make a change? What was it?
What caused me to really want to make a change some part in my life was from 18 till I was 32, 33, I done did 18, 19 years of my life behind bars locked up. Then this last time I went, I had 2 year sentence and I went to a level 1 luckily. And I was sitting on my bunk thinking, man, I got to do something. I'm already 30 something years old and this is all I've ever done. And I looked around and I seen the older guys, they're 50, 60, 70 year old, they're going to die in there. And I just decided I didn't want to be that. You know? So, I changed my mind on it.
Okay.
So, I made the decision right there on the release date. They said, well, if you get a high school diploma, you can be home by next month because you only got 6 months left on your sentence. So, your immediate release. So, I decided right then and there, only one going to get me out of here is the same one that got you in here. It's yourself. So, I went ahead and did that and got my high school diploma and got immediate release that following month. And I just stopped getting in trouble.
So who or what do you credit the change to?
God.
How do you know that?
Yeah.
How
Well,
do you know that?
Just trying to think how to explain it.
Explain it in your own way. In your own way. How do you know?
Yeah.
You know, sometimes people say God and just kind of leave it right there.
Well, I knew.
And I'm not asking you just some theological answer, but in your mind, why do you think it was God?
Well, like I had that call when I was 18. Then after that was one close call in my life on it. And one other time I had been kidnapped by some of my friends. Well, they weren't my friends, it was business, what they said, not personal. Then I got out of that. Then on October 22nd, 2002, I got in a car wreck right out here in the front.
Out here?
Yeah, right here, on the corner. And we got hit with such force, I ended up in the highway with a cop doing CPR on me because my heart stopped beating.
Wow.
Then when the ambulance came and got me, it did it again. Then I remember being in the hospital down here and seeing my best friend, my mom, my grandparents, and the doctor telling my mom, call the rest of his family because he ain't gonna be much longer.
Wow.
Then that was in 2002 and I'm still here in this 2020, you know what I mean? Then, like when I was sitting over at Al's house, and I think you was at Ivy Tech, and I was sitting over, drinking, having a drink, smoking a little weed. You just showed up and was like, hey, come check this out, and I did. And that's where I am today.
It's wonderful, man. Yeah.
I mean, it was all a setup to get to where I'm at now.
That's right. And it's good. I remember, like yesterday, I'm looking around, Brother Tim, and Heidi. I know y'all don't see her, but I can see her. And I remember, like yesterday, I was leaving school, I was going to a class, and having to see Al, knew Al, and they had, they had it going on over there. And I didn't go over to talk about what they were doing. I wanted to just let them know, that God He has more.
Yeah.
And had no idea that He would show up. And He came. And so, as a result of that, He was, and I'm so grateful that God, and when we hear this, and y'all, those that listen, y'all need to really, and I got one more question, I really take this in because now you can see this, He is a miracle of what God can do when God has His hand on your life, no matter how low you get and He was nice with the story. He couldn't go, obviously you can't go into all the details of things He's done. No, He thought we'd be able to handle it. And we don't want people to call in the job and all that kind of crazy stuff. You mean to tell me? But when He looks back over His life and see one miracle after another miracle. Now I didn't know you got hit out here in the street from our church. And
It's what the church I was
Yeah.
the car wash.
Yeah, I remember the
That's
car.
when it was a car wash.
I remember the car laid across the street. I do remember that passing through here. But and when they called family together and letting them know he's not gonna make it. And then other times it happened in shootouts and things where, like you said, when the police shot all, the car or whatever, and you still living, did you get shot? Did any bullets hit you?
No. When we showed up to what the person that took our stuff, we had an exchange with them of gunfire, but luckily nobody was hit. Not nobody.
And so even with the police, was there a shootout there?
Almost. They was getting ready to open fire on the car if we hadn't got out.
Yeah. And you still live in one piece, So, so I attest the miracle of God. He came here, and he got baptized in Jesus' name, and God touched his life, and it's never been the same.
No.
Would you be attest to that?
Yeah.
It's never looked back.
No, and it's changed completely.
That's good.
It's like right out there where I lost my life, I came here and gained a life. That's the thing. That's
fascinating. That's the place where he lost his life, came here and
right
gained
in the same spot and got it back.
And got it back. Lord, what a miracle! What a miracle! Wow. So I'm just thankful that my wife and I, and we know it was God, but the Lord used us to play a little part in that, and He's never forgot us. We've never forgot Him. But and so one more is this: what would you advise other young men? How would you advise other young to avoid pitfalls? What kind of advice would you give somebody that's perhaps out there, man? They think they got it all together, and everybody think nothing will never happen to them. You get that, and the enemy, Satan. So y'all don't know who it is. I'm talking about the devil who's listening. Satan is a deceiver.
Yeah.
And you don't think nothing will ever happen to you. So what would you say to advise, what advice would you give other young people, whether male or female, about how to avoid the pitfalls?
Avoid
what would you tell them?
I'll probably tell them, listen to that voice you got in you, because that voice it's not your voice. You know what I mean? That's the voice of God in you, telling you to do. You know what I mean? You can feel it like right before you get ready to do something dumb. You hear a voice and you be like, man, come on. You know what I mean? It's not your voice. You don't hear it in your voice. I've never heard it in my own tone. You know what I mean? It's always in a different one.
Yeah.
Don't be a follower. You got enough of them right now. But we need leaders.
That's good.
Yeah.
Now,
we need leaders more now than we ever have.
What do you think it takes, for instance, because what you realize now, you may realize you're a leader. You really are. You just had a different way of leading. Yeah. But that leadership of leading is still there. It's still there. God wants to use it in a greater way. Oh yeah. One thing I admired about you, and then when God began to change your life, you've always, a person that have passion and doing wrong, when God changes their life, when they get saved, they still have a passion. But this time I want to do right with it. Mm-hmm. And so what can I do to encourage some other young person, well, like I said, whether male or female, not to go down these roads?
I don't know, it's like, sometimes they don't have to make that choice on their own.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's like your will. You know what I mean? It's like God said he won't ever go against your will.
That's
you
right.
got to willingly accept Him. He ain't gonna force it on you. You know what I mean? It's like the power of changing your mind. it's like, cause I was listening to Bishop T.D. Jakes the other day,
Mm-hmm.
and he was preaching on the topic of changing your mind, and he said that's one of the most powerfulest tools ever is a changed mind. He said nothing can stop it. You know what I mean? Once you change it, once you change your mind, that's it. Nobody can change it for you. It's like if I say I'm not, like if I say, well, I don't want to go to work today. I don't care how many people are short. I don't care. I done made my mind up. I'm not doing it. Not that I do it, but
Right.
you know, as an
Right.
example,
Right.
that's as simple as that. You know what I mean? And sometimes you got to go through. You know, you got to go to dark places. Sometimes God will put you in that dark place.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because He does some of His greatest work in the dark.
That's right, man. Yeah, that's a message right there.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like when the baby's like when a woman's pregnant, the baby's in the womb. It's in the dark because that's where He's working on. He could bring it to light. He could make it to where you can see it, but He does His best work in the dark. It's like when He made the earth, it was dark before He made the light. He made the earth before He made the light.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I
That's
mean?
right.
I went to dark places, like a lot of dark places, before I came to the light. Then once I got here, He made me to where He wanted me to be at. So
That's right, man. That's
you just got to change your mind on stuff,
That's good, man.
change your thinking. Really.
And that's good because, and that's so true. That's a message in play, and that's a message in itself about changing your mind. Because nothing happens until you change your mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No matter what nobody say.
Mm-mm.
And I'm finding out no matter what people do or say or what they put before you, if you don't make your mind up to change, that's, you know, I can attest that I've done jail ministry, not so much here in North Vernon, but when I was in Columbus for like 15 years. And I'm talking to people that I've known, that I've seen. And I've seen a lot of people repeat things, go back and they go back and you talk to them, they go back. Some of them never bark the doors of a church. And they wonder why things are this, the way they keep going, you know, it's like this revolving door. They never changed their mind. They never had a mind to really want. And the mind is powerful, man.
Yeah.
And you put choice, God in there with that, nothing can stop you. So I'm just grateful, man, for you sharing with us, man. And if you could do it all over again, what would be your story? What would, if you could write it, I'll put it this way, if you could write a story of your life, or chapter, or name of your story, what would you call your story? If you had a heading about Brian Meeks, under that name, what would be, how would you condense your story into a few words? What would you call that?
Oh.
If you could name your story.
Yes,
What?
like, I don't know, like the power of choice can make you or break you. Or can keep you or take you, one or the other. You know what I mean? Something like that. Yes.
That's good, man. That's good. Power of choice, make you or break you.
Yeah.
And what's so wonderful about your story is that through all of that, you know, really God had His hand on your life, man.
Yeah.
Through all of that. Even though there may have been around people, maybe been people around you that died.
Oh, a lot of them.
Wow, I said a lot of them. But you're still here. You ever thought about why me? Why didn't it happen to me? When people around me are leaving here, checking out here, and I'm just as bad, matter of fact, I'm the one leading.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I thought about it. But it's,
you wonder, why not me? Why didn't it happen to me? It should have happened, but it didn't.
yeah. Never did. Likewise.
So what do you attest that to?
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, He has something planned. And then I think, like, we still got a lot planned.
Yeah.
Me and her, we still doing things, you know what I mean? I work full time now, I mean, somewhat with COVID. It's kind of slowing down.
Right.
I'm trying to get my own business started off the ground right now, so a lot of good things.
The mind's clear, isn't it?
Yeah.
How you feel about that, man?
Good.
The mind ain't clear.
Good.
You don't have to be worried about looking. How does it feel not being able to look over your
Great.
shoulder? Feel great.
Yeah.
That's good, man. I'm proud of you, Brian. I'm proud of you, sir, man. I'm proud of what God has done in your life and is doing in your life. And then you've got somebody in your life that you feel that you want to share it with. And it's good, man, to see what the Lord has done in your life, man. Got a good working man, and got a few little toys, and didn't have a desire for, for having your own business. Man, but none of that would have happened, I believe, without a decision.
Yeah. I mean, no matter what you do, you know what I mean, you gotta, it don't matter, like when we leave right now, I got a choice, I can go left, right, or straight. It's up to us which way I want to go.
Yeah.
If I go right, I'm going the wrong way. You know what I mean? I don't live that way. I live to the left, you know what I mean? So, or you can go straight and just go your own way.
Man.
So it's up to you, which way you want to take.
So you don't feel that pull no more from you to me to go the wrong way. It's good.
It's gone. It ain't there.
Well, we just thank God for this time of you sharing with us, and I want to tell the audience, that you have a choice to make. There are decisions that people are making every day. What will be your decision? As my guest, Brian, I call him my son, spiritual son, he's made some bad choices in life. Mm-hmm. But what's wonderful about God is that we all have made bad choices. But God has not forsaken us in the bad choice. Because he knows sooner or later, he's going to hear my voice. The Bible tells us when you hear my voice, harden not your heart. And so I thank God that there was a time in his life that he heard the voice. And then God uses people. I thank God he used my wife and I, could be others, people praying for you that you didn't even know.
Yeah.
And God just stopping. God has a way, and I know he does. God, when I should have died because somebody prayed for me, that prayer blocked what should have came my way. When you laying in this street dead, God said, no, I know what y'all see. I can imagine, in my mind I can imagine it. I know what they saw with the natural eye. But God said, he's not going to die.
Today.
Not today. Oh, man. Oh, man, that's powerful, man. I know that. And they told me, then they got the family together and said, well, time to say goodbye. But God said, not now. I'm still here, brother. And so we have to on the spiritual side, we have to evaluate that too. That the choices that I'm making now, look what it's done for my life. So what would you say in closing? What would you say the good choices have made in your life? You made some bad ones. Mm-hmm. What do you say about the good choices?
The good choices? Well, it brought me a lot of happiness for one. I guess it brought me financial security. I can honestly say that. Which I didn't think I'd ever be able to say that.
Wow. That's good, man.
I don't know, it puts you around, a lot of good people. Like, down where we live at, I know a lot of good people down there. It's like, last weekend I went and I thought I'd never do it. I just voluntarily helped my neighbor across the street put hay up. I just did it because he's my neighbor, and that's what I think you should do.
And was there a time you wouldn't have done that?
Yeah, I ain't gonna mess with my hay, man. You know what I mean? But
that's wonderful, man.
Me and my brother both went over and helped him. Just because he's like mid-50s, and the other guy was helping him like late 60s. I know they can't do that on their own. They got 2 trailers though. They can't do that by themselves. We went over and helped him out. So.
Do you think that the change in your life has caused your heart to change too?
Yeah.
Your heart is more receptive and more kind.
Mm-hmm.
And that's good. So we thank God today for just this time that my good friend Brian has shared with us, and you that have tuned in. We pray that what is said will benefit you. Please take that in. This has been a powerful session. He shared some very intimate things of his life and the things he's been through, and I believe there's somebody that's watching now. You've been through some of those, maybe some familiar situations, some similar situations in your life. But I want to tell you what God can do. What God done for others, He'll do the same thing for you. Yeah. And look what He done. He turned His life around. And we're going to just have a word of prayer. Father, in Jesus' name, God, we pray this afternoon for those that have been listening to this session. We pray, God, that perhaps there's a young man or young lady that's been rebelling and going and doing this and doing that and knowing better. Perhaps they've had a good home life and perhaps they didn't. And decisions are being made every day, some good, some bad. The Bible tells us, what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? What does it profit you to continue down this road of decay? That you're slowly losing your life and your time. Are you tired of it yet? Well, we've had a testimony, a living testimony of what God can do. I call it from the ashes, from the junk piles of life. God made beauty out of ashes and caused this young man to rise up. He's respected now. He feels he has dignity. He's got his name back. He don't have to worry about looking over his shoulder when the police coming after him. Got a good job, a beautiful girlfriend. And the Lord, God has been good to him. And all that happened because he made a choice. He chose. He made a conscious decision. He chose to turn his life around. And sometimes we think it's just me, but God was drawing him all along, because the Bible tells us no man can come unto the Father but by me, and if I don't draw them, they won't come. But God had his hand on his life through all that he's done. Now some of y'all listening, you feel like, man, I done messed up. My life is so bad. Who could care about me? I done messed up. I done lied. I done cheated. I done disrespected my mother and father. But there's a God that still loves you and saying, choose me. Choose life. You got a choice. Life or death. What do you choose? You choose life and live. God's got better for you. Perhaps you've never given your life to the Lord. And this day I want you to pray this. Say, Jesus, Lord, I'm sorry for the life I've been living. Forgive me for my sins. Oh, God, created me a clean heart, renew me in right spirit, Lord. I want to be saved. I'm tired of the life I've been living. God, turn my life around. I say yes to you today. If you prayed that prayer, God is beginning to do some things in your life. But I would encourage you to find you a Bible-believing church who preaches the gospel. God has more for you. This is just the beginning, but God has more. If you're in the area of North Vernon, we want to invite you to our church, Golden Harvest Community Church, 2990 State Highway 7 in the beautiful city of North Vernon, Indiana. That's what I said, the beautiful city. Don't y'all laugh about North Vernon now. The beautiful city of North Vernon, Indiana, where the Spirit of the Lord is, Golden Harvest. We want to invite you, 10 o'clock, our Sunday teaching session, and 11 o'clock, our morning worship. Listen, God bless you. I want to say again, thank you, Ryan, for being with us. Love you, man. God bless you. Keep on keeping on. God bless you.